G'day battlers, and today we're going to be going over my Sunrise Cup tournament run that brought me to number 2 in the entire world, and that may have had something to do with the fact that it was the first tournament that was held in the world, but hey, I'll take it. So jumping straight into it, we've got my team up here with Altaria, Mantine, Galarian, Stunfisk, Vigoroth, Alolan Marowak and Ferrothorn. And before I go through my team and the movesets and whatnot, I want to bring your attention down here to my round 1 opponent, Not Ren Newman, one of my patrons, so shout out to you. He's got Mantine, Vigoroth, Altaria, Abomasnow, Alolan Marowak and Galarian Stunfisk. 5 out of the 6 same Pokemon, and that is because we were both inspired from the exact same place, and that is my guy Eric, who I'm sure is listening to this right now, so howdy and thank you for having a brilliant team. And Eric is just a master team builder. I actually used his team to sweep a Sinister Cup 2.0 tournament at the end of last season, so he seriously knows his stuff, and he's on it so early as well, so you know, massive props to him. So I guess we'll see how Not Ren Newman's team goes up against my team with the one that'll change to Ferrothorn from the Abomasnow. So yeah, I guess we'll see how the straight Eric line goes up against my slight modification by changing Abomasnow to Ferrothorn. I really like Ferrothorn in this cup just because it has Thunder to hit back against the Flyers, and then it also has Power Whip, which can do really well against the Anti-Flyers, and with either of those moves you can actually take out Mantine like really well, and having a hard counter to Mantine is kind of a really important thing to me for this cup, because you're going to see so many of them and you're going to be so annoyed by Mantine, so I think we should just get into the battles. So going into round 1 up against Not Ren Newman, we lead Mantine into Alolan Marowak, which is a fantastic lead. Bubble's going to be great, Bubble Beam is also going to be great. Switches into Mantine, and lucky for us, we have Ferrothorn here. So Ferrothorn can actually win straight Power Whip, just because, well, Mantine had a little bit of an energy advantage, and I wasn't sure if that was going to go, but he actually goes for the Ice Beam first, so that's kind of like, it puts me at ease, because I'm able to farm up some extra energy, go straight for this Thunder, knowing that it's not going to be debuffed, because another Bubble Beam isn't going to come through. Does get the shield there, so I'm kind of going, oh, should I really be going for Thunder? Like, Thunder is kind of a one-hit KO, because Mantine has both the Water and Flying typings, but yeah, we didn't want to risk it there, and we actually shielded the Ice Beam kind of correctly there, so Not Ren Newman really just trying to get rid of this Ferrothorn any way he can, kind of just knows that going straight Bubble Beam, while it would debuff the Ferrothorn, it just wouldn't really, it would just kind of be letting Mantine go away, and he does let it go with that Thunder there, and bring back in the Alolan Marowak. Can able to farm some energy on us with his Ferrothorn, but you know, at least we can get a Power Whip off to do something, and we are going to be bringing Mantine straight back into this thing, so in he comes, going to be able to Bubble and Bubble Beam straight away. A little bit wary about a Shadow Ball. A Shadow Ball isn't going to KO us. We were hoping to get that Bubble Beam off before a Shadow Ball came through, so we have to shield that up. We didn't have to, but you know, we wanted to keep Mantine as healthy as possible. We know that Mantine is definitely a force to be reckoned with, and doesn't really have that many hard counters outside of Ferrothorn in this cup. So we get one Bubble Beam off, and we're kind of going, oh, could we bubble all the way down? And then we're like, oh, we don't want to get hit by a Shadow Ball. Just go straight for this Bubble Beam and do get it off, and down goes the Marowak before it can unload its energy. Could have shielded up to get the energy off, but again, Shadow Ball wouldn't have KO'd the Mantine, so yeah, just not really that useful. So we get the first Bubble Beam off, and with this being his last Pokemon, this is kind of looking really good for us because that Stunfisk is already debuffed, and we have our Stunfisk in the back, so we get hit by a Rock Slide, all good. We can tank another 1, maybe even 2. Now that we get another Bubble Beam off, we can definitely tank 2, unless I guess the Mud Shots are going to be adding up as well, but finally burn that shield off of the Stunfisk, and it looks like there was actually a little bit of lag there, might have missed a Mud Shot maybe. But we'll let this come through. Obviously, I mean, we don't have any shields, and we're pretty confident that even if Mantine goes down, our Stunfisk in the back should be able to handle it just because of the debuff to the attack. Like all of these Bubble Beams that have gone through onto that Galarian Stunfisk, and almost done now. Gets the last minute charge move off, and yeah, it'll just be like a Mud Shot or 2 from our Stunfisk to take out that Stunfisk, and that will be GG. So already you can see that Mantine is a massive force to be reckoned with in this cup, and you really need some answers. And we go the exact same leads into game 2. Not Ren Newman just, you know, throws his phone away, sick of this thing, and switches into Galarian Stunfisk. So Galarian Stunfisk is still going to lose to Mantine. However, I kind of want to keep that Mantine for the Alolan Marowak when it comes back out. I tried to switch out there, but unfortunately didn't go through before the Rock Slide did, so we decided to shield up there and then go, oh, I guess maybe we could go for another Bubble Beam seeing as we're here. Unfortunately, another Rock Slide is going to come through. We decide we're not going to burn both shields. We know we can tank this, especially after one Bubble Beam. So get this bubble beam off, just kind of like really debuff this Stunfisk like all the way down. We know it's switch locked at the moment, so yeah, it's really getting low now. We're looking at, we switch out into the Galarian Stunfisk of our own, kind of hoping to catch the Rock Slide there, but it didn't work out. But funnily enough, we actually get this Rock Slide off before a charge move comes through from not Ren Newman, so it actually has to shield there. It looks like it was a CMP tie. I think he was trying to get the charge move off like just before ours. Unfortunately for him, we were able to sneak it in, and extra unfortunate for him, because of all of the debuffs that our Bubble Beam went through, Earthquake just didn't do that much damage to our Galarian Stunfisk. Like, if it was normal, that would be like basically a one-hit KO, we'd be out of there. But yeah, just because of those Bubble Beams we snuck through with the sneaky little Mantine, we were able to tank that and do like a big chunk of damage onto this Alolan Marowak as well. So bringing back in our Mantine now, going straight for this Bubble Beam, no funny business. Doesn't quite take out the Marowak, so he's actually able to get this charge move off. And we're kind of like, oh, if it's a Shadow Ball, it's going to like take us all the way to, oh, it is a Shadow Ball. So we're getting really low on this Mantine. Really just want to see like what his third Pokemon is. But and in it comes the Mantine of his own. So like, alright, we can deal with this. And switches into the Galarian Stunfisk. So looks like we were trying to go into Ferrothorn to kind of just tank something, maybe get rid of the Mantine, and then even if Stunfisk came in, we would be good. But it kind of worked out anyway for us, just because Ferrothorn was able to get a little bit of energy on that Galarian Stunfisk, and now it looks like we are just going to be going straight for Power Whip this time, because again, a straight Power Whip is going to be able to beat down the Mantine, and we've got a shield in tow, so we'll see if he just goes for the straight Ice Beams to try and get rid of our Ferrothorn and then get to the Mantine mirror match, or if he like, actually, I guess that's really the only play at this point. Like, maybe you could go for a Bubble Beam like early on to try and reduce our attack, but you really just want to get those Ice Beams off to get rid of this Ferrothorn and correctly shield baits us with the Bubble Beam. But unfortunately, because we still had that little health on the Mantine in the back, we're able to switch out, clear the attack debuff, throw an attack debuff of our own, and we actually could have just gone straight for the Ice Beam. I think we actually could have stayed in with the Ferrothorn as well, but I didn't want to throw away like a sure thing, so I was like, alright, we'll play this as like fancy as possible just to make sure we get this win, get the Ice Beam off with 1 HP and a Dream, and that is GG's on Game 2 of Round 1. So we're 2-0 in the first ever Sylph tournament of the season, which is super cool. But going straight for this Power Whip again. No funny business, no like going up to the Thunder and then wasting a whole lot of energy on a shield, just a straight Power Whip. So take out a nice little chunk out of Mantine's health there already, and now the first charge beam coming through, I'm thinking that it's probably an Ice Beam, because that seems to be his strategy. Yep, straight for that Ice Beam, knowing that better off to try and get rid of this Ferrothorn to maybe get a chance to get the switch advantage, as opposed to just like admitting defeat and letting Mantine go. Kind of surprised that he's completely let Mantine go here. But I guess probably going to go for a parting Bubble Beam, but we get shield baited there, didn't want to get taken out, did not want to take any risk at losing switch advantage ourselves, so we've taken the switch disadvantage to get the switch advantage to get the shield disadvantage. But in comes the Alolan Marowak, and because of that Steel Grass typing, Marowak is going to be Farm City. Power Whip basically did nothing, and Marowak has a nice little chunk of energy ready to go onto whatever we bring in, so we're going to bring in that Mantine just because that Bubble and Bubble Beam combo is going to do so much damage to that Fire type on the Alolan Marowak. Shadow Ball does come through, it does like half their health. In comes the Galarian Stunfisk, sorry. And now we're kind of thinking, what do we do here? So Mantine is good against both remaining Pokemon, and we have a Galarian Stunfisk in the back. So we're like, okay, we'll swap out here, catch the Rock Slide onto Galarian Stunfisk, waste all of that Stunfisk's energy, and boom, we catch the Rock Slide, does like no damage at all. That's like the equivalent of 3 Mud Shots. So really great catch on air end, and we were worried because of we were down a shield, and we were like, how is this going to play out with that Stunfisk versus our Stunfisk in the end? But yeah, we get a shield with that Rock Slide just because he kind of had to shield because he had 2 shields and it would look really silly if he didn't burn any of them. So goes for the Earthquake and we burn our last shield there. Get our Earthquake off first. We'll see if Not Renewed decides to use his last shield to protect his Stunfisk. Does do that, and he's going to be able to get to an Earthquake before we can do anything to take us out. Decides to stack the energy, swap into all the Marowak, and we get this Rock Slide off before we can do anything about it. Takes out tons of health off that Alolan Marowak, bring in our Mantine and take out the Marowak before any charge moves come off. Get this Bubble Beam off before Stunfisk can do anything with all that energy it had stacked up. This is looking really good for us here, and now the Rock Slide comes through, and it's not going to take us out of this range, especially after that Bubble Beam debuff. So, looks like are we going to be able to bubble down? Yeah, able to bubble down, and that is GG's on round 1. So up against FishOnAHeater in round 2 here, he's got Mantine, Skarmory, Swampert, Vigoroth, Abomasnow, and Galarian Stunfisk. So, we were kind of seeing Swampert and we're like, hey, Ferrothorn looks pretty good here, can do well against Mantine, has Thunder for Skarmory, good against Swampert. Vigoroth isn't great, Abomasnow isn't great, and Galarian Stunfisk is pretty good too, so we're definitely bringing Ferrothorn. Actually, let's just get into the battles and see how we did. So here we go, up against FishOnAHeater, who is another Aussie content creator, so link will be to his Twitch channel in the description below, so definitely go check him out after this. And into round 2 of the first Silph tournament of the season, and we have Mantine up against Abomasnow, which is not a good matchup at all, like at all. Pretty much his only hard counter to Mantine. And we go straight for the Bubble Beam, which I'm not sure if that's the best move, because there's no chance it's going to be an Ice Beam, and so he's just really comfortable not shielding. So maybe we should have charged up to the Ice Beam, but even if we went for the Ice Beam only does like a third of Abomasnow's health, so it wouldn't have been great for us anyway. And it looks like we are deciding to just stay in with Mantine, like let it go down, get as much energy off as possible, eating a Weather Ball there. And we charge up to the Ice Beam now, and it looks like we did try to swap out of there, keep that energy for later on, but unfortunately it just didn't go through, and forced us to just waste all of that energy from the Mantine, which is really unfortunate. Bringing in a Alolan Marowak, and was really surprised to see the instant swap out into Vigoroth, but he called us really well there, and we did not have another good answer to the Vigoroth, so we had to bring in Ferrothorn, which is not a good matchup. So we basically had 2 bad matchups against Vigoroth. Alolan Marowak, I think, does actually win in the lead scenario. It's just the fact that there's no youth move, Shadow Ball is going to do basically nothing, and we would be worried about any Bulldozers coming our way, which I guess now we have to do anyway, now that we're going to lose our Ferrothorn. So going straight for the Bone Club, because again, that Shadow Ball would be resisted by the normal typing. Just adding up the Fire Spins and the Bone Clubs. Bone Club really not doing much for us. It's basically just Fire Spins at this point, and we get hit by a Bulldoze. That is definitely devastating, and pretty similar to an episode of The Ring that FishOnAHeater co-hosts with Dr. Trotter. So link will also be in the description to the Aurora Australia's Discord, YouTube channel where they host The Ring. So check that out too. Whole lot of plugs going on. But going into, we've taken this out Vigoroth. We still have 2 shields because we're hoping to do something with it. And in comes Swampert in the back, just sitting here going, oh man, we seriously got outpicked. We should not have put Mantine in the lead, because that really put us into a spot where it was very paper, scissors, rock, and we definitely lost. So we need to come in with a better team, bring in a Alolan Marowak versus the Galarian Stunfisk, which isn't a great matchup. It's not actually bad. It can kind of go either way depending on like what moves get off and whatnot. We decided to farm up some energy on the Alolan Marowak and then swap out into Mantine. I don't know if that's the best play, because that Galarian Stunfisk has a lot of energy now, and it's going to be able to get it all off before we can even get to our first Bubble Beam. So I mean, hindsight's 2020, that's obviously not a great move, because now we have to shield up this Rock Slide, or else our Mantine will basically already be gone. Now we get our first Bubble Beam off, and he's still got Switch advantage. Like, he hasn't swapped out yet. He can like tank this Bubble Beam and then swap for something else. It looks like he's going to stay in though, take some more hits, or up charging up some more energy for later. That is probably the better move, and bring in Mantine of his own, knowing that our Mantine is really not going to be able to do anything at all. We can get some baits, or we can get some Bubble Beams off to do, debuff it for later, but that is pretty much it. Our switch window is up now, so we're able to throw this Bubble Beam and then we'll be able to switch out knowing that he is switch locked. So this is kind of okay for us. Bring in the Ferrothorn, and I'm not sure if that was the best play. Like, maybe it would have been better to try and tank a move onto the Mantine and then bring in Ferrothorn, but hey, we got an Ice Beam which actually did like no damage at all, so kind of just lucky that it wasn't a Bubble Beam, because then we'd be swapped into a debuff, which isn't ideal. Get the Power Whip off, which does so much damage before it's been debuffed. Probably gonna debuff here, unless actually you could be going for the Ice Beam to take out like half our health. Oh, goes for the Bubble Beam. So then we just have to get to one more Power Whip to take out the Mantine, and I think we overfarm it there by 1 Bullet Seed just to get some extra energy on for later, because we know we're still not in a great spot in this battle, so we really need to get any energy advantage that we can. In comes that Galarian Stunfisk, which does have some energies piled up from the previous bit. And is this an Earthquake? Is it an Earthquake? We don't shield, and it is an Earthquake. We hang on for dear life and don't get the Power Whip off. We over-tapped it there. Even if we did get it off, Fish still has 2 shields. He would have been able to burn 1 there. Bringing our Mantine, we're kind of going, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? So shield up the Rock Slide there. Oh, don't shield up, sorry. Definitely do not shield. And then in comes the Marowak, farm up 2 Fire Spins worth of energy, and we've got 1 shield versus 2. We were hoping it was a Abomasnow, and that is definitely not a Abomasnow. So, yeah, actually, I think that's what went through our head. We were like, okay, we can sacrifice Mantine. Our only play, our only hope is that Abomasnow is waiting in the back for all these Fire Spins to coming through. And yeah, it's just not how things went out. It was a Swampert. So yeah, we're gonna lose this one. We decided to shield up and then maybe like we can do something, but yeah, it's pretty hopeless at this point. We try and get the Bone Club off, and yeah, no. I was thinking that, you know, maybe if we go for the Bone Club, we take out the Swampert, he accidentally clicks the don't shield instead of the shield button. Yeah, it wasn't good for us. So we have lost round 2, but going to game 3, we've got another terrible lead of Marowak vs Mantine, switching to Mantine of our own, and here comes that Mantine hard counter. It is Abomasnow. We're already really not looking good in here. We've lost these lineups hard, so getting that Bubble Beam off. And don't quite get to another one before charge moves start coming through. I think again we're just going to kind of let a Mantine go down because there isn't too much that we can do here. Probably going to go, going straight for the Ice Beam here to try and do some damage. Unfortunately, another charge move coming through from the Abomasnow, so really not looking great for us. We're like a Weather Ball plus Powder Snow is away. Yeah, one more Weather Ball comes through and we are goners. So go for this Ice Beam, hoping that he doesn't shield so we can kind of do some damage to the Abomasnow. Does go through, which is nice, and then going to go for this Bubble Beam just to try and debuff a little bit more. I'm wondering if maybe it would have been a better play to go for the Ice Beam instead. I mean, Fish might have gone for the charge move there instead, but yeah, we bring in a Alolan Marowak and actually farm down. He doesn't throw any charge moves onto the Mantine, onto the Alolan Marowak, sorry. I'm not sure if that was just like slow on pulling the trigger or wanted to leave energy to farm on the Mantine. I'd imagine it's more the former because Shadow Balls are still definitely a little bit scary for the Mantine. Burns that first shield. And I mean, as we saw before, Shadow Ball does like about half-ish of Mantine's health, a little bit less. So it's not like the most dangerous thing in the world. But Fish just really wants to keep that Mantine healthy for later on. So Bubble Beams going to be coming through. We are not looking good at all. Go for this Shadow Ball. And we clicked on the Bone Club. And at this point we're going, that's not cool, but Fish Shield, so hey, we're all good. It was okay that we clicked on the wrong charge move, and actually we're going to let Alolan Marowak go down here anyway, so it really didn't matter in the, actually undercharges to try and farm up some energy, and we don't swap out, so we actually just let him take that energy, which again, maybe not the best play. Bring in our Mantine just to kind of soak up this energy from his Mantine. So yeah, here comes the Bubble Beam. Actually, it doesn't quite take us out, so we swap into the Altaria. We've got one shield, so we're going to shield up whatever the first move is, hoping that it's the Ice Beam. We went for that Sky Attack too, but it didn't go off, and his charge move's coming through first, so please be an Ice Beam, and we shield the Ice Beam. Hopefully we can Dragon Breath down the Mantine, and what's in the back? What's in the back? It is Vigoroth. We've got energy, we've got this Sky Attack ready to go. This isn't going to take out the Vigoroth, but we're kind of close to a second Sky Attack, so first one goes through. It actually does like way less than I thought, but with these Dragon Breaths, I guess Vigoroth is actually the normal typing, not the fighting typing, so it's not weak to flying, but here comes Sky Attack numero uno. Doesn't quite take the Vigoroth, and at that point we were like, we were sweating, we were like, oh, please don't take it out. But yeah, that was not ideal, and we're now 1-1 in this first Silph tournament ever, and now going into round 3 up against Paraplexy. So Paraplexy has Altaria, Mantine, Galarian, Stunfisk, Whiscash, Meganium, and Charizard, which I thought was a really interesting team. Like, if you just look at all of these teams that are on screen now, you're seeing a lot of the same Pokemon everywhere. You know, everyone's got these Abomasnows, the Galarian, Stunfisk, what have you. Paraplexy just, with his Whiscash, Meganium, Charizard, I don't actually see any of those Pokemon around here. Swampert, there's some Swampert, so there's Mudboy action, but Meganium and Charizard is really unique. And unfortunately for me, Charizard has a bit of play against our Ferrothorn with that Steel Grass typing, and Meganium also has Earthquake, which Ferrothorn doesn't love, especially because we don't have Thunder. If we had Flash Cannon, we would be able to win that Meganium matchup, but because we're running Thunder, which is definitely the better moveset for this cup, don't go running Flash Cannon for the Meganiums, we were in a little bit of a worse spot, so let's see how we do go into round 3. So, up against Paraplexy, we're bringing in the Ferrothorn lead, and there's Whiscash. We're going, okay, this is so sweet, and switches out straight away into Mantine. So we don't really have a better Mantine counter in the back, so like, hey, we'll stay here, this is cool, go for it. So we go straight for the Thunder, hoping to maybe burn the shield, or just, or that, goodbye Mantine, and he is gone. Paraplexy talked to me after the battle, and he did not realize that it got to Thunder that quick. Just Bullet Seed, man, it is an absolute pest. Bringing our Mantine, going straight for the Ice Beam, thinking that surely Paraplexy isn't going to go 2 from 2, and lets both of those charge moves come through. Almost lost 2 Pokemon without burning any shields, and it is so quick into the battle. Just really poor luck on like not shielding those charge moves. Really think that we're going to go for the Bubble Beam, and then before really just not knowing that we were going to be up to the Thunder yet. So yeah, definitely not looking great for Paraplexy here. Sky Attack does take us out, bringing our Ferrothorn to farm up a little bit of energy. Here comes that Whiscash again, and we go for this Power Whip. He's still got 2 shields, but at this point there isn't too much that Paraplexy can do. Lets it go down out of his misery, and that is GG's there. So first one went really quick, but it was all about just landing those charge moves, the baits. So going to this game, we have Ferrothorn versus Meganium, which as he said before, is not a great matchup. So he swapped out into the Mantine, and then here comes a matchup that isn't too bad for us. It's Galarian Stunfisk. So Mantine does beat Galarian Stunfisk in the lead scenario, and we actually had a bit of extra energy, so we're looking extra good. I was a little worried that a Frenzy Plant was going to come through from Meganium, but that didn't happen. So, and like, I wouldn't have done heaps, but it would have taken a nice little chunk out of our Mantine, and maybe enough that we would have lost this battle to Stunfisk. But get these bubble beams off, and a little bit of lag there, but actually I think it was just the game trying to figure out how to get this charge move off. But Rock Slide comes through, it's deep after this point, so we're looking really good. Just going to go for another bubble beam, and this is, I don't think this is going to quite take out the Stunfisk. It might be like one more bubble, which is preferable because we get a little bit more energy, and yeah, it doesn't quite take it out. Rock Slide is going to come through, that's all good. We know it's not going to do too much damage, and yeah, boom, and one more bubble, and down it goes to Stunfisk. So we do have the shielded disadvantage, so we'll see how this goes. In comes the Meganium and going straight for that charge move. So we're like, oh, we'll probably let Mantine go. It's not like we would get to an Ice Beam super fast. Don't know how much Meganium really has going for it, so I don't know like how quick we could get to another one. But we bring in the Vigoroth here, we were worried. I was kind of thinking that I was going to lose this battle. We're going, oh, Vigoroth versus Meganium is not a great matchup, so we go for the Body Slam just to try and take out as much health off the Meganium as possible. Let's go through, and we're going to get another one off before a charge move comes through from the Meganium. Really just charging up so much energy, maybe just confident because he has the 2 shields. Burns one there, bring in the Ferrothorn, knowing that even an Earthquake isn't going to nuke us out of existence, so just soak up this energy so we can maybe use Vigoroth a bit more later. Goes for the Frenzy Plant, which is really unfortunate because Frenzy Plant is definitely not the right move to go for in this matchup. You want to be going straight Earthquakes. I guess could have burned a shield off me, but yeah, Frenzy Plant really is not doing that much, even though it is such a broken move. Goes for the Earthquake this time, does a ton of damage. Gonna go for this Power Whip. And we actually, we don't get the Power Whip off. I feel like that wasn't intentional, so we burn a shield here. Maybe we're farming up to 2 Power Whips and then we're going to throw. Yeah, looks like that is what we're doing. So we farmed up to 2 Power Whips, decided that we weren't going to be able to Bullet Seed down, so burn 1 Power Whip onto the Meganium to get rid of that, and then come into the back, and we have in front of us, it's Mantine, and we have the Thunder ready to go. We know how much damage this is going to do. It is going to be an absolute nuke. Holy dooly, bring in the Vigoroth, counter down the Mantine, and that is GG's there. And this is actually the last battle of the video, Ferrothorn vs Meganium here in Game 3 of Round 3. Unfortunately, Round 3 we only did 2 battles because they had to leave for work. They had to do some stuff at work, and then also it was a little bit laggy, so it like wasn't, I don't think it was a clean thing. I don't think there's too much to learn from it, basically. So I've just kind of left that one on a chopping block this time round, but we'll talk about that after as well. But Mantine versus Meganium here, you can see how much that Frenzy Plant did, even though we have the flying typing as well. So that's kind of why I was worried about it before. It's definitely a scary thing. So go for this Ice Beam, and it does get shielded. Paraplexy not going to not shield these big nuke moves anymore. And in comes the Frenzy Plant, which do shield. Gonna go for another Ice Beam, hope we can get it off before a charge move comes through, which we can. Kind of hoping this burns Paraplexy's last shield, because we don't want to be in another situation. Ooh, let's it go through, and then swap into Ferrothorn, go straight for this Power Whip, really just put as much pressure onto this Meganium as possible. Please shield. Doesn't shield, lets it go down, so we were kind of like, we just really wanted to get that last shield out, because we didn't want to be at a shield disadvantage, especially with that Stunfisk just hanging around. Stunfisk is such a scary one when it's got the shield advantage on you. It can like get these Earthquakes, get to these nukes, and just dispose of you. So we get 1 Power Whip off, which goes unshielded, and now a charge move is coming through from the Stunfisk. Probably that, goes for the Rock Slide. Oh, that's so, it definitely should have gone straight for the Earthquake. I think he was talking to me after and said that he didn't realize that how the resistances and effectivenesses were going to go. But yeah, that just, it really did not do enough to the Ferrothorn. So now probably going to go for the Earthquake, which will definitely put a big hurt. Down goes the Ferrothorn, and I guess as a result, it had to burn that shield, and then in comes the Whiscash in the back. So we're kind of going, okay, we've got Vigoroth here. Vigoroth is definitely like preferable to be up against the Stunfisk as opposed to the Whiscash, but we also want to put a little bit of damage onto this Whiscash before Mantine comes in. Hoping to catch a charge move there, but we weren't able to do that, unfortunately. A Mud Bomb is going to take us out though. He's actually still kind of forced to go for the Blizzard, and he does before we got some like Bubble Beams off, for example. So go for this Body Slam. Just trying to get rid of this Whiscash before we get like Blizzarded, which is really a big fear at this point. And a charge move's coming through, and we're just sitting here going, oh, please don't be the Blizzard. Don't be the Blizzard. And it's a Mud Bomb. We're like, yes, we can take this one out still, unless the Stunfisk gets to a charge move like faster than we want. Can we get this Body Slam? We can get it off. Is this going to be enough? That steel typing is going to, Body Slam is not going to do lots. Doesn't do enough. Doesn't do enough. And one more counter finishes it off, and that is GG's on round 3. So as I said before, this was the first tournament of the entire season in the entire world. The first one to conclude, and as a result, we're here on the leaderboard on the sylph.gg homepage, and that is probably the first and last time that I'll be there. Equal second with DJ Power. So massive congrats to Dr. Trotter, not only for winning the tournament, which would normally be enough for a congrats on its own, but for becoming the world #1 by competing and winning in the first ever Sylph tournament. Massive props to you, man. #1 is a massive achievement, and I'm sure we will never hear the end of it. And so, you know, here I am at the measly #2. It's okay. I'm also just gonna keep reminding everyone forever that I peaked at #2 in season 3. So, yep, this will definitely be my peak. So, thank you for watching. But yeah, thank you to my opponents and also Aurora Australis for running this like first in the world tournament. It's definitely like it was really hyped to be a part of, and I had a lot of fun. So, thank you so much for putting that on, especially to FishOnAHeater for running the whole thing, and also thank you to all of my opponents for putting on a great show. Even Fish, who did beat me, which was very unfortunate. Weren't able to claim that #1 spot, but Dr. Trotter, very well deserved. But thank you to my patrons, Valentine9458, brajSF, Negaben10, Noran Newman, you're working SqeakyNL, and Charizardyong should be here, so I've used the wrong image. So thank you also to Sadie P for the Twitch emote, Redful to Maze for the 5 subs, and Elshis for the sub. Yeah, really sorry to Charizardyong. I guess I need to put my images in the right spot next time. So I'll be sure to do that. But yeah, see you in the next video, which will be a Sunrise Cup tournament win recap. So definitely subscribe for that, and I will see you in that next Sunrise Cup video. Blah, 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 blah.